All right, people, what's up? What's up? This is I've Got Questions. We are back. This is, I believe it's episode 8 of this podcast series, season 2. I am your host, Jeremy Jager, and I actually, this time, for the first time ever, I have a guest speaker. I don't know if I want to call him that, but his name is Larry. I don't know. Did you? Okay. Hi, Larry. I don't know if you want me to say your last name.
Larry is fine.
Okay.
Or say my last name, doesn't matter.
Well, you are a fashion designer. You are
Yes.
an educator.
Yes.
And I wanted to bring you on because you and I have many private discussions that we go very long in the tooth, talking about various things and whatnot. So you used to live in Atlanta, as I do live in Georgia now.
Yes.
You lived in Atlanta, you said, for how long?
I stayed in Atlanta from 2017 to 2019 till December 2019. No, July 2019.
So about 2 years.
Yeah, about two, 3 years. Yeah.
Okay, then why did you leave? I mean, that was pretty quick.
Well, I left. It was not a plan to just like leave and stay gone. When I left when my mother ended up being diagnosed with breast cancer in July.
Oh, wow.
I was planning on going back to school to Southern University at A&M College, where I graduated from. In that following December, I planned on going back there and then returning back to Atlanta. But in November of 2019, my father was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Oh, wow.
So I had like both my parents had cancer. I was in school trying to graduate, and I was like, well, somebody has to be in Mississippi just in case my parents need me or
Right.
something goes south. So I stayed in Baton Rouge. When I graduated from Southern, I stayed in Baton Rouge until December of 2020, and I moved back home.
Baton Rouge is Louisiana.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Yes.
Okay. Because, I'm not from here, so I was thinking that, but I was making sure. Now, you live in Mississippi. Well, not from Earth.
Right. I guess anyone should know Baton Rouge.
Well, yeah, no, but I was thinking Mississippi also had a Baton Rouge, but no. And one thing we will be talking about later on in the show, I think I do have a topic to talk about with, I do, Mississippi, because you are in Mississippi, and there's been a lot of things going on in Mississippi. I'm sorry?
I am in the ghettos, Mississippi.
Well, okay. But I mean, are you affected by, well, no, we were talking about something. Well, we're going to get into the water crisis in Mississippi a little bit later. And he's someone who's on the ground. So there you go.
I'm actually in Jackson right now as we speak. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, so can you, well, okay. So I'm going to need you to turn on the faucet.
The water's not real. I checked to see, but I did buy me some water.
Okay.
Coming into this. So, but yeah, we could definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
But because I have a few things off of my chest.
Okay, perfect. And I'm sorry for anyone listening. That is definitely my dog talking right now. Oh boy, this is how he starts off. This is great. But anyway, so we'll move on past that. Hey, cut it out. This is the perks of home recording. So how was your dating experience in Atlanta or Hotlanta? What do you think about? What do you think about? Well, I don't want to talk about what your sexuality is if you don't want to talk about it.
It's not. Yeah, I don't care.
Right. So what was your experience like in Atlanta? Period. your dating experience. And while you do that, just talk for a second, and I'm gonna be right back.
Well, first, let me just say that I am a man of LGBTQIA plus identity. So dating in Atlanta, being a gay man, is everything that people think that it is.
And what do you mean by that?
It is like, so a lot of people come to Atlanta and they think that, oh well, it's like the gay mecca or the black mecca, black gay mecca, and it's men everywhere. So that is true. There are a plethora of men to choose from and a plethora of men to choose you. However, they are all after. I would not. I would say all, because I'm not going to generalize the whole population, but majority of them are all after the same thing.
Which is
sex.
Okay.
So I knew that going into Atlanta because previous before moving there, I used to visit Atlanta as a college student and as a high school.
Oh, so you were hot on the town.
No, I was not hot on the town. My sisters live in Atlanta. I have two blood sisters that stay in Atlanta.
Okay.
And they've been there since like 2005.
Right.
So I used to visit for the summers as a teenager, so I knew what dating as a gay man was like in that younger age. Even though I wasn't out, I still I like men, and I saw certain things that I probably should not have witnessed as a teenager. But,
okay, what do you mean? Can we get one example of something you probably shouldn't have witnessed?
So, I think that a lot of times that gay men get an image of over a hypersexuality, right? As a gay man, as a little boy, as a teenager who's growing up, I saw a lot of the friends that I made have multiple men coming in and out.
Now, okay, so now you're saying as a younger person, you seen that, but were those men older men?
They were old. Well, for me, most they were older, so they were I probably 15, 16.
Oh, wow.
They were 17, 18, 19.
Okay.
So you could say basically older.
Well, not older men meaning 30.
No, not 30. Of course not. But, there were men that were coming in, they're probably 25, 26.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
So they were they introduced me to during that time, to tell my age. During that time, it was BGC, Adam for Adam.
Okay.
So they would beat them on, or the chat line.
So do you feel that, and especially today, I think that with social media and whatnot, I guess it would be multiplied at this point, right? Do you feel that young black men are maybe, I don't want to say danger in such a extreme way, but hell, it is extreme because a lot of these people, young men, young boys, don't have an example to really follow. Do you feel maybe there's a lot of danger for these young LGBTQI plus people?
Yeah, I think that the danger is coming from ignorance. We don't have a lot of and I mean as far as mentally, people or emotionally well people guiding and teaching our black gay young men.
Right.
So you deal with so before you even get to a person that is well thinking, you meet a whole bunch of sickos.
What do you mean by sickos?
You meet people who are in the mode to just groom younger guys or to date a younger guy, and you're 35, 34, and you're trying to date someone that is 18, 19.
Right.
What?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that was I think it's because you weren't accepted at that age, or you was DL at that age. You're trying to relive a lifestyle or a life that you can't get right now. You know that you missed. So you're trying to live it. And my thing is, I would never take away that experience from
Right.
That's
You know,
very.
I really, me and you have never talked about this particular subject, and I've really thought about that myself. Because I'm in the LGBTQI plus spectrum as well, and I've really thought like, sometimes there will be someone very young who hits on me, and it's kind of, I feel like it's weird in a way too, because I feel like, definitely, what you're talking about, I dealt with, where I was young and the person who I ever first was really intimate with at that point was older than me. Um, so that's interesting that you say that. Yeah, I guess that's just. I guess it would be worldwide how what we deal with because of. Do you feel that we deal with that because we have to hide so much?
I think so. I think that we deal with that because of that point of accept. Like I feel like you don't really get a chance to grow up
Right.
until like when you're gay, you don't get a chance to really grow up until you are out.
And meaning grow up. You're meaning like there's no steps. It's just like bam and
Yeah,
bam, pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't get a chance to grow. Like when you're DL, you're hiding in the closet, you're doing all of these things, and you're trying to cut the spectrum of being a straight man.
Right.
You don't get a chance to really grow up,
Right.
like because you're not free. Like you're not yourself.
Right.
You're not who you are. So you are put into a box, and if you know anything that is put into a box, it can't grow.
Right.
It'll grow only big enough to like
Burst
fit
out of
in.
the box.
Yeah, to fit in that box.
Yeah, only fit in. Yeah.
Right. And matter of fact, a perfect example. I'm trying to think of the animal. I think it's a turtle.
Mm.
It's a turtle. If you put a turtle like I'm not sure if the animal or whatever the animal is, if you put it in like a container or a small container, it will only grow to a size that is befitting of that container.
Mm. Mm.
And I think that as gay men, we are that person. As gay black men, we are put into that box
Right.
where we're not allowed to grow. So we don't get a chance to really grow, like completely grow, like completely like be our biggest potential.
Yeah, thinking of 2 points I have. Because I was looking at this. I guess this came out yesterday night or something. I don't know if you've seen the picture of Zaya. I don't know, Zaya Wade. Is that how you say her name?
Is it Zaya? Or
Yeah.
is it probably, yeah, I think probably so sorry.
But you know what I'm talking about. So did you see those pictures that came out?
Dwayne Wade's.
Yeah. So that's Dwayne Wade's daughter. Did you see the pictures that came out? Okay. You have. Can you see on your phone?
Yes.
And guys, for those listening, I'll try to put up a picture during this conversation because there was this picture came out last night, um, and the first thing I actually thought about was, wow, she's really pretty, but there's going to be people online here who are going to fetishize her or fantasize about her. And she's really, I believe, 13 or 14 years old. Um,
She should be about 15 or 16 now.
okay, I mean, but still.
Yeah, but still too young to be in a situation of that.
And
I want to say her name is
but
Summer.
try to go on an Instagram and find that picture. Because I want you to see it and why I'm bringing it up. So when I went on YouTube this morning, there was a pretty popular LGBTQI channel who does a lot of ballroom kind of stuff, and I've gotten into ballroom over the last year, watching it and whatnot. It's pretty fun and whatnot. It takes a lot of agility, but the first thing they said was, oh damn, I wish I had the exact words. They said something about this treat is gonna like a look at this treat, this young treat that it's gonna be growing into something else when they get older. And I felt that word treat was just so gross. You know
It's like that like
let me
yeah,
put-
like you have to be aware of what you like, and they could have meant no harm by it, but you
Right.
have to. That's like saying, "Oh my God, she's gonna be so pretty when she grows up."
Yeah.
Like, some people say that. Like, what I'm saying, I've heard grown people say, "Oh my God, he's gonna be a heartbreaker when he grows up." So, that's the equivalent of saying that. But at the same time, I think that you have to be aware of what you say because words mean things.
Yeah, and it just was so strange to me to say something like that.
She's really pretty.
Yeah, she's really, really pretty. And, there's a lot of comments that are coming out about her. And I can't even pull it up. What I want to get the exact word. The definite word was treat in there, but I was trying to get exactly what they said, but I'm not going to be able to get it. But going back to what we were talking about with grown. Oh, here it is. Actually, here it is. So, can I show you? Oh, no, I can't show you. It says, "Stay tuned for this future treat."
Yeah, that doesn't feel okay.
Right.
That does not feel okay.
It was so strange to me for someone to say something like that. Yeah. So I think that, especially being in our world per se, in the black community, a lot of parents do have issues with their LGBTQI plus children being who they are. And Zaya Wade is very fortunate,
she's a unicorn. She is one of those unicorns.
Right.
That have a parent that supports her.
Right.
That has two parents, well, three parents that support her.
Right.
Because in order for Dwayne to support her, or Dwayne to support her, and Gabrielle Union to support her, but in order for him to support her, her mother has to support her as well.
Right.
So that is and I do apologize. I didn't call her to say the wrong pronouns.
Well, I think she's a her, right?
Yeah, but I think I still didn't say it is a little. Yeah. I do apologize.
And you know what? That's the thing that we all, I feel like as long as you recognize, then you're not trying to be funny. You know what I mean? As long as you recognize and give credence to that, I think that those things can happen.
Yeah. It's just like you have to apologize for it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure her mother is accepting of her as well, because that has to happen in order for for that acceptance to happen. You have to have it, and for her to feel as free as she does. And I'm happy that she feels free.
Right.
Because you see in our community that so many men aren't free, and they deal with that identity crisis.
Right.
Like, I've seen so many times where men, and even now as a grown man, like 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, grown men marrying women, and you were just on Jacked. Mm-hmm. You were just on Instagram, Facebook, being gay. Like, you have to deal with that. For instance, and I know I hate to bring this up, but and I really hope that he is genuinely who he is. I don't know if you've heard of the internet and for the social media influencers, Messy C.
Who?
Messy C. So Messy C is a look her up.
I'm gonna look it up.
Look him up. Look her.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Messy C is she's been trending. Or he's been trending a lot on social media, where he was engaged to a woman. From that woman, he ended up getting engaged to a man within 2 or 3 weeks after he announced his engagement to the woman. And that's allegedly 2 or 3 weeks. He ended up announcing his engagement to the woman. And he said he's engaged to a man, and he ended up having the same wedding date as the woman he was supposed to marry. And at his wedding, he dressed when he was with the woman, he was very masculine. He was deep voice, all those things. but with the man, he's light voiced and dressing in drag. And it's like, I was like, that is a person, like, that is identity crisis.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and I just looked him up, or I don't know what his pronoun. I don't think that he's trans.
No, he's not trans.
Right.
But I think he does stuff for wow factor, but it's really like, it's almost sad to watch him.
Yeah.
Like, fidget around. It's kind of like watching, what's her name? So Scooby Doo, who loses her glasses.
Velma.
It's like watching Velma trying to find her glasses.
Wow. I mean, that's a good example. I've talked about on this show about someone who was interested in me, and he and I worked together for years upon years, and he never ever spoke of this until about 10 years of me knowing him, and he said that it wasn't. I don't know what his thing is. He's married, he has kids, and all these things. But he said that it was more being, and that's what I'm demisexual. So it was more about energy for him. But there's, a person like him who has a wife that gets to flirt with women and be with women if she wanted to. But he could never do that because he would be ostracized. And I find that so sad, that he has to live in a cage pretty much, and I think that that's where something like that happens with this person. He probably was Messy C, which I looked up, was probably living in a cage pretty much and then bursted out. Kind of like that box example that you gave.
Yeah.
I feel like I think doing it on the same wedding date and all, that's kind of messy, if literally his name. But yeah, I mean, if you are a parent who listens to the show, and there are people all over the world who listen to the show, but if you are a parent who listens to this show and you you probably, if you listen to the show, you're probably not liking gay people. But if you are, I think it's more important to support your child, because there's been so many suicides in the last bunch of years of even children, 12 years old, killing themselves. That affects a lot of people. So I just think we need to pay attention more and more to what we're doing and whatnot. And
And just to be honest with you, transparency, I had to look up what demisexual meant. So please don't judge me.
No, I mean, no.
I was like, that's no one for me. Let me look up the word what demisexual is.
Right.
Like, I learned, the funniest thing is I learned a new sexuality probably once a month. So I'd be like,
but that's
the thing.
But that's the thing. I feel like, there are so many, and I think even going back to the Native American days where they already thought about two spirit, this is not new. Two spirits is not new. That was something that they thought of, and they allowed their people to be, because that's just what it was.
But also as well too, like even in ancient Greek and Roman times, and this is just with the white people. They have the men that were in the army were like bisexual men or gay men, and even sleeping with a man during that time was a level of status.
Right.
So it was like somebody knew something, and then like he was just battling this whole gay thing, and like even African tribes. And,
well, yeah, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. I really am not going to spoil it. But there was a gay character in the Woman King, which we're going to get into next.
I have not been able to go see it yet.
Yeah, but going to what you're talking about African tribes and whatnot. yeah, those things were real until I feel Christianity and things of those natures came about. And you know what I really think is that some guy out there was just so angry that he just was like, he wrote this in this book because I said on this show that religion is man-made. So
So the thing is, so with the whole, I know, like with Leviticus, the thing that they say is an abomination is not homosexuality; it's pedophilia.
mm. So people,
you should not lay with a man, with a boy, B-O-Y.
So people use that as a weapon.
Mm. You should not lay with a boy as if you would do a woman. So it was changed within the Catholic faith because once again you had those. We all know what happens with the choir boys. Y'all pretty, I'm not laughing at that. I'm just laughing at we already know the idea of the choir situation. So, that is the thing that's funny.
Well, hold on. Now, just turn a little to your computer more. And what do you mean by the choir? We all know what happens with the choir boys. What do you mean by that?
So, you've heard the stories, like the general stories of the priest and the choir boy, right?
Do you go ahead?
So it's sometimes in certain situations, a lot of situations, they have had where the priest has taken advantage of the choir.
Right.
So a lot of them. So so that's something that has been, I guess, are stereotyped for choir boys in the Catholic faith. So yeah.
Yeah, and there's and I talked about on the show that I really want people to watch is this movie called Spotlight. Have you ever seen it?
No, I've never seen Spotlight.
Spotlight is a really great film that spoke about this topic exactly, where a lot of priests who would assault young children, they were moved into other churches rather than kicked out, and for a lot of reasons. That you would see like on the paperwork and whatnot, you would never see that they molested a child. You would see that they left because they were sick or something else rather than what they actually did. So they were able to actually go around and keep on molesting. And in this movie Spotlight, which is based on true events, because there's a newspaper in Boston, a section called Spotlight in that newspaper, where they actually put the spotlight literally on what was going on. And in this movie, they found so many priests that were just moved, not just fired or anything, moved. And they knew what was happening and just moved them.
And the Hulk is in it. I'm sorry, I called him
Who?
The Hulk.
What's his name? Yeah, I know. Mark Ruffalo, yeah.
That's his name.
Yeah, he played a great role, let me tell you.
And Stanley Tucci. I like Stanley Tucci from The Devil's Wears Prada.
Yeah, you've got to see this movie, Larry, and anyone who else out there, please go see Spotlight. I don't even know why I say it to really go see it. I'm not trying to just bash religion, but I feel like there are predators that we allow within our realm more than we think.
Yeah. So let's to circle back. I would really love for you to kind of explain demisexuality, because even though I read it, I just don't really get an understanding. Like I'm understanding, and it's saying something a person that is really sexually attracted to, or however that works.
Well, it's more about, like I said, it's more about energy than the actual sexual, or I guess what do I want to say? Male, female, trans, whatever. Because I feel like I am attracted to trans people. I am attracted to men. I am attracted to females. I don't. Go ahead. You look puzzled.
Yeah, because that kind of sounds a lot like pansexuality.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, there's definitely a mix. I think pansexuality is just that that they're attracted to different. But I feel like more the energy um, is more for me, you know. But those two go hand in hand. They're not too different.
so, like I found out that there's a name for something that I am attracted to, and that is androsexuality.
Okay, and what are you attracted to?
So I always tell people that I am attracted to masculine energy. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I am attracted to a masculine man, but I'm also attracted to masculine trans men or masculine women. So I am highly attracted to um, women that do masculine jobs. So like if I see like a woman police officer
Or a plumber?
I'm attracted to, or a woman plumber. No, seriously, like if I see like a woman construction worker, like if she presents like a masculine energy,
You get a hard on?
like, seriously, like for real, like I really like money. So it's kind of funny because like I was like, hey, bro, I don't think I'm completely gay. I think I just like masculine people.
Right. Well, see, there you go. And that's the thing I think that a lot of black men go through is that they, and not that there are not gay black men who only like men, but a lot of guys I feel don't like the label gay because of all the stigma that comes with it. But really, a lot of guys just aren't gay. They are, multifaceted with their sexuality.
Correct. Like the bromance thing. You know, that's been something that's been really big lately, like the bromance.
And homoeroticism, yeah.
Yeah. So like the whole ideal of bros over hoes and things like that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
No, I was gonna say I've talked about and not that this subject means that, but I've talked about a lot of guys not really liking women, period, like hating women, but also that there's a lot of, if you see a lot of rappers and not just rappers, but groups of guys who will never have women around, but when they do, it's probably like one, and
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 it's always just because they're having sex with them.
yes, and there's nothing else with it. They go out with the guys to go eat. They don't ever really have a woman in their life unless it's yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unless it's just to have sex. And that right there, they don't even consider that as a. For I guess what mess people up is that last word of that of anything sexual, like bisexual, transsex, like sexual is so they automatically go to the generalization of sex,
Right, right,
the behavior.
right,
So the act of sex.
right.
So that's why when people be like, well, I'm not understanding why y'all worrying about a kid and their sexuality. Because the last word of that is sex.
Right.
So they automatically think if a child that's 12 years old is gay, the first question they're gonna ask you, who touched you? Baby, nobody touched me.
Right.
I just know I like boys.
Right.
Or I just know I like girls.
And I will say that from my own self, I was I was very young when I realized I like both. And back then it wasn't like trans people were really out there and whatnot. But I was attracted to both. Yeah.
I was when I realized I was attracted to men, I was fourth grade.
Yeah, very young for me too. Yeah.
And I never. And the thing I always tell people like when I'm telling them my sexuality, because they always have. I don't know why they have to ask, but they always ask me, or they don't really ask me. Like when I just tell them because we'll be in a conversation. Because for some reason people like to say are okay with saying homophobic things around me, and I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
That's never okay. And like I have to tell them like, oh yeah, because I'm gay. That's how I know. And I'm like, oh my god, like I didn't know you were gay.
Yeah, like you know what? Recently, I was playing the game, and Larry and I are gamers. And you hear a lot of different things when you're playing video games. Let me tell you,
Of course,
horrible things.
the F bomb is dropped
F
everywhere.
bomb,
Like,
N bomb, all that.
yeah,
You know, and there was some guy like, oh, that's gay, and I was like, well, I don't know how shooting someone and you dying is gay. And then he had to catch himself, you know, I guess, because I said something. I guess he realized, you know, he was playing with somebody who, you know, was a part of that spectrum.
yeah.
And the good thing is that he didn't like keep going with it, and I liked it that I like that about him, that person.
And sometimes that's all it takes. Like,
Yeah.
you do not like, and I tell even with my parents, like, and I love my parents to death. But once again, so if anyone, so if you don't know me, I grew up with a Southern family.
Right.
I'm talking Louisiana, Mississippi family.
Right.
And they are Bible Christians.
Down.
So,
Bible Christian down. Yeah.
yeah, Bible Belt.
Right. You literally, yeah, you live in the Bible Belt. Yeah.
Yeah, I live in the Bible Belt. So, them, for me to come out as gay, their first question was, well, who touched you? And how, like, my mom, I told my mom, she was like, well, did somebody touch you? Did somebody, no, I just,
Wow.
maybe y'all just hated gay people so much that, you know, I was like, hey, you're a visual gay baby.
Right. Right.
But no, but I just never, I just so, like, trying to explain that, like, you do not have to understand or like what I do. You don't have to, but I'm asking you for the respect
Right.
that you would give my sister if she brought home a man.
Right. You know, and I was talking to someone about kind of like that, and they were like, we were just joking around, and um, he was like, "Oh, you know what? I should bring you home for Christmas just to splurge, you know, just to do that to my family." And I was like, "Yeah, like that would be funny." And he was like, "No, but they would take it a whole different way." And I'm like, you know, like even if you were to date someone, because you know, like I said, we were just kidding around. But I told him that you should never feel like you can't. You know what I mean? Because I think straight guys or straight people, they just, you could bring a new one home every damn Christmas, every damn Thanksgiving. You don't have to, you know, say anything. But for us, it has to be kind of like the perfect one to finally bring home. What do you?
But and like for me, like me taking somebody home, like I've already told friends, and I think this has a lot to do with how I view relationships too as well. I already told like my friends, like, well, I already know my parents would never come to my wedding if I was to get married to a man. I already know they would never come. So that
You really you really believe that?
I know they would.
Wow.
Um,
And your parents definitely love you, right? I
they
mean,
love me to death. Like
you and I talked about your parents, and they seem very supportive of you outside of that, it seems like.
yeah, they're very supportive. Like my dad supports the fact that I sew. My dad supports the fact that I do clothes and everything. They're very supportive of me. But it's just that they're once again they believe that what I'm doing is not right within God's eyes. Yada yada yada. Even though you have a daughter, 2 kids out of wedlock, we're not gonna tell like we're just gonna let that go. My sin is not the ultimate sin. We're gonna let that go.
And even though, like you said in Leviticus, it doesn't say about with a man, it says boy. They still.
It's supposed to be so. It's supposed to be with boy.
So have you ever talked? Have you ever kind of challenged them on that part of it?
No, because we don't. The thing is, so here's the thing. Here's another moment of transparency. I think my dad knows that I'm gay. One.
But you never talked about it.
But we never talked about it.
Wow.
So it's like adult acts, adults, like very army.
Very Florida. You're very Florida.
Don't say gay. Yeah. Don't say gay. But we don't talk about it. My mom, I came out to my mom. So I came out to my mom in college. My freshman year of college. I called her and talked to her and I came out. Because I didn't want to tell her in person just in case she was going to put me out. So I wanted to go ahead and have my stuff already in my dorm room. Wow. So I didn't know what to do just in case she put me out.
Wow.
And,
that's so sweet. Yeah. That's
you said what?
Not that, your life is sad, but that's sad,
But that's the thing, like, and I came out when being gay, it was just like one of those situations of like, it wasn't as accepted. Like me, we're on the same age. Yeah. I think you're probably either a little bit older than me, or maybe just a little bit older than you. I'm not sure. I know you don't want to say your age, so yeah.
I don't know what my age has to do with your story, but go ahead.
No, I was just trying to see if you can relate. I was saying maybe you can relate around the time.
I can relate to you, period, because I have the same story as you.
Yeah. So like around 2000. Some people say like around 2008. That's when I was like 18. So I came out around that time to my mom. Oh, wow. And I know she had asked me before, and I told her, what I'm saying, like I try to like deviate, like try to move the conversation somewhere else. Because I just really didn't want to tell her. But when I finally got to college, just in case, just like I said, I waited until I got to college, and I probably called her like a month into college, like, "Hey, Mom, I want to talk to you. Let you know I'm gay." And she was like, "Okay." She was like, "I kind of figured that anyway. I already knew that anyway." It shocked me how like blah she was.
Let me ask you something. Does your mom watch a lot of gay programs or people with?
She does.
She does, huh?
I found out later my mom liked Noah's Ark.
It's so crazy to me that they could watch things up and down, but have such a large. Because I'm only saying that because my mom is the same way, where I was just like, you're watching all these things, and my mom now, it's just, whatever. It's not a bad thing now. But back when I did tell her, it was like the phone dropped, and I think I've told the story on the show. When I told her that I did like, men, it was very scary for me. Yeah, it was very dramatic because we literally, I was living separate from my mom also, or I was separate from my mom, and like just like you, and we were on the phone, and the phone, she said she didn't hang up, but the phone just was off. Like she had hung up or the phone dropped. I don't see how the call could have dropped all of a sudden. And then, then there was the call back, and, it was just a very sad moment to know that, it's just a sad thing.
And at first my mom was like, "Well, I just think you're going through a phase."
Oh my God.
I'm like, girl, like this phase has been going on. Hate to tell you, hate to be the bearer of that madness.
Right. I mean, here you are sewing sequins, and she thinks it's a phase.
Right. Like, I'm doing everything but drag. What are you talking about?
Oh, my God.
But her reasoning was like, she kind of figured it because she was like, I just realized that you, like, one, you didn't want to go to prom, and then, like, you said that, you don't want to go, like, you can't go with who you want to go with, so you don't want to go, and, you never brought any girls home and introduced them as your girlfriend. And I was like, so that's your reason thinking I'm gay?
Well, I mean, I guess, kind of like, right?
Okay.
I mean, only because you're not unattractive at all. I mean, so you would think, yeah.
So I was like, that was like, yeah, like, but I don't like people. So I don't think that's I done brought a man home and said, "Hey, Mom, it's my boyfriend." Like I never did that either. So
Right.
but
Wow.
but
Well,
my dad. So this is how I know my dad knows. I remember me and my dad were watching TV one day, and normally my dad would make homophobic comments. And one day we was watching TV, and he was watching like we were watching. I can't remember what we were watching, but he had saw like homosexual activity, and he had said something. He caught himself. And he apologized. He was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way." And I was like, "Dang." I was like, he must know. I was like, I'm gonna speed past that.
wow.
I'm gonna let that marinate, let that go.
Right.
So, but he asked my mom one time. I remember he asked my mom. He's like, "Mom told me she like your dad. I think your dad is suspecting you're gay." And she was like, "I think that because he asked me the other day why Larry don't ever bring a girl, why Larry don't ever bring women home."
Right.
And she was like, "I don't know. You should ask him." But he never asked me. So I think my dad knows. Then I also wants to, but I can't say that because my dad sews. My dad, he does car seats and upholstery and car seats. Like he does all of that stuff. So me sewing is not something he's gonna be like, "Oh my God, like where?" So
right.
But so he was like, "Oh, he's just taking out to me." But I'm out here sewing gowns full length.
Right. So do you think that there's ever I mean, because, and you didn't say how your age, but I mean, at this point of your life, you are, do you think you would ever have that conversation with him? I mean,
honestly, the reason why I think I have not had that conversation again is because I haven't been in anything serious to where they will have to be in a situation where they're going to have to see it often. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No.
I'm going to have a consistent person coming around.
Right. I mean, I never brought it up until I was in a real relationship. Yeah.
Right. So, and that brings us back to the conversation that started from the beginning of the podcast, which we took a direction.
Yeah. We did.
I have never been in a relationship.
Right.
So there has really been no, because there is people out there they still ask the question is, are you sure that you're gay? Or are you sure this? Because if you've never been with a man or been gay or been like I've had sex with men, but if you've never been emotionally with the man, then how can you say that you're gay? And I and I thought like, damn, that is a great question. I've never been presented with the opportunity, and like you said, I'm not an ugly guy. I'm not an unattractive guy, but I just never been presented with the opportunity to be in a relationship with anyone. I've never been on a date, so that was my dating life, and so there's different factors that factor into that.
Wouldn't it be amazing if you could speak to your dad about it, and that he knows someone that may be good for you? Have you ever thought of that?
I would die.
What if he said, like, one of the guys down at the shop,
that's a fellow that I've been talking to. I know he got a son.
Right? People don't think about those kind of things where you could really bridge the gap per se. But I think this has been pretty interesting talk. I do want to get into our next topic, but I really appreciate you for being transparent in such an amazing way, because you are very talented, you are very smart, you are very educated, and that is well, you are. You truly are. And you need to know that, and I don't know if I've said that to you. I think I've definitely bigged you up, but I've never said, I want you to know.
You definitely called me a bitch ass nigga.
I've never used that. I've never used that word towards you. I've called you a bitch, but
you called me several hookers and whores. But
And by the way, he's come back at me several and started with me several times. Okay, so don't do it. But no, you are very talented, and one thing I did want you to at least say, you do have something coming up next April that you are working on.
I am bringing fashion to Mississippi.
Yeah.
In a major way, beauty and fashion. In my small hometown, I am hosting a fashion show or a black beauty expo for boutique owners, black designers, black vendors who have self care, or candles, or hair, or eyelashes, or acrylic nails,
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and hairstylists as well too. We're doing a hair show. It's going to be a hair show and a fashion show and black beauty expo in my hometown.
Yeah, and that's coming in April. Do you have a page or something that, in case it comes up, people can check it out?
You can follow my page. You can follow my personal Instagram at 50 yard YARD stitch STITCH.
And that is 50 yard stitch. That's the number 50 yard YARD STICH 50 yard stitch.
Yep, 50 yard stitch. Or you can follow my design page at Rocky Taylor, TAILORE.
That's that Mississippi for you.
No. Let me tell you something. My brain drifted.
You know what's gonna ask you before we got on here, because I don't know how to spell it. Do you know how to spell Mississippi?
MISSISSIPPI. Where I didn't spell this massive juice.
Do you have to sing the song that crickly crickly giggles?
No, I do not. I've always spelling has always been a good thing for me.
Right.
Except for Massachusetts.
Right.
Really got me in a chokehold.
Well, listen, we are going to take a moment. We will be right back. This is my guest, Larry Medley. He is a fashion designer. He has a fashion show coming up in April. So if you are in the surrounding areas or anywhere, there's a big show actually going to be there that weekend, right? There's a
It is the same weekend as what is called the Juke Joint Festival. So if you like blues, if you like live music, if you like black people, it is in a very historic black town, and it's called the Juke Joint Festival.
And you told me that lots of people come from all over the world.
Yes, people from France, Russia. I met someone in my job yesterday from Holland.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's coming up in April. Hit them up. Excuse me. I was holding on to that cough for a second there. So I apologize. That's coming up in April. Hit them up. Make sure you do. I'll actually be there. But we'll be right back, and we're going to get into the topics that we normally talk about. So we'll be back.